Good morning, everybody. So we'll have the meeting start, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And the roll call, please.
All right, so we're gonna get the roll call. First, Lorraine Benefield,
Here.
Neil Brennan,
Here.
Ken Jones,
Here.
Elaine Clyde,
Here.
April McLaughlin,
Here.
Edith Ramlow,
Here.
Carol Sprague.
Here.
All right, and absent and excused are Phyllis Peters and Shabana Reed.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum. The reading and approval of the minutes. So has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? Are there any corrections, changes?
I have a comment. You did really well on the note taking. Thank you. It was very thorough. Good job, Jessica, for the record.
They were very thorough. Okay, could I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
So moved.
Okay. Second, thank you. Yes, very nice job. Open to the public. Does anyone here? Oh, yay. Yay. We have a public, thank you.
A peaceful public. That's why I come, to make sure. Right, Kathy Gates Inverness, and welcome to another peaceful meeting, I hope. Something came up on my memories, you know how they do it on Facebook, and a couple years ago I was on a cruise and they stopped in Portland, Maine, and they have an excellent museum there, and they had a display of a local Black poet, artist, and author, and I took a picture of the display, gorgeous children's books. So I just took a picture of it. I want to give it to your staff. Might be something cool in there, nice to add to your children's sections. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Oh, well, thank you. When you said Maine, I thought you were going to say Stephen King, but
You thought what?
I thought you were going to say something about Stephen King. I'm like, oh.
Oh, Stephen King. No. That's okay. Can we still have stuff?
Sure.
2
Okay. Report of officers and standing work groups. So I don't think we have anything right now on that, do we?
No, I think
From
that
the last meeting?
we were talking when we met before about reconstituting something for Love Your Library. We've kicked around a lot of different ideas. We've talked at this board a couple of different times when the timing is right, and I think it's still, because everything has to be reevaluated, even the spaces themselves, because of the changes that COVID forced into the libraries and other places, of course. So we'll I think it's a matter of just coming up with some informal discussions among the library staff and you guys as to how we want to move forward. I know that we will keep the theme of February in a Love Your Library feel. We'll still have, we are still planning to do the tree like we've been doing because of the success of that. That tree has been really used. We've done it for 2 years now, and people do like it and they respond to it. So we'll continue to do that. And, you know, as you and I discussed, I mean, everything's on the table. I mean, you could even come up with the possibility of multiple smaller events versus huge events, as long as everything is, you know, in the right vein. And you and I talked yesterday, there's really 2 different crowds of folks that you're after. There's those that are already library supporters and those that already, you know, want to celebrate and promote the library, but then there's also those that you want to pull in. From a promotional standpoint and advocacy standpoint to support libraries. So we can continue that conversation in the next couple of months and see which direction we want to go.
Right. So what we'll do is probably February of 2024 would be our target. And in between now and then, we have to, like Eric said, we have to evaluate the amount of time that it took to put on one of those events. It was a year-long odyssey. It was a lot of work. And so you want to maximize our bang for the buck. So we have to look at that. And that's what we said, maybe smaller venues, maybe something literary with, before it was more of a I don't even know how to describe it, like a giant gala, and it worked. But as time went on and the requirements became more, like Eric said, you have to reevaluate. There's things that you have to do, things that have to be paid for. The amount of money that we took in, then there were costs involved as it got bigger. So we kind of want to minimize that and maximize the amount and cut down on the operational expenses. So we're going to look at a lot of things, and we'll be talking about it more. So I'm just
But
putting
I
that
think
out there.
what we can do, April, is I can get with the staff because I know that they have a lot of input into how we would want to move forward and some ideas and things, and we can then bring that to either the full board here or a subcommittee to just discuss how we want to move forward in what direction.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Let's do that. Okay, so
I
just,
have a recommendation.
Yeah.
Have you tried doing the flea markets? This is going to be in February, right?
it's going to be in February. And normally what we do is, the other events, it went on for 10 years until COVID.
Yep.
And we had it in the Central Ridge Library branch. And we had a band or a disc jockey. We had silent auction, raffles. There was a ticket, to get in. There was a fee, a donation. So there was a lot of venues, different streams of income. And then there was food. That was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And we even at the end had wine and beer. So there's a lot of different ways we can go with that. So
The very big
we'll be
event.
looking at everything
Yeah. I mean, we were averaging 300 to 350 people.
Right.
It was pretty
in
large.
that library.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good time. It had a wonderful 10-year run.
It did, yeah.
But it was I think just being open about it, it was starting to get more and more staff intensive, which we have to dial back on some of that, build up that volunteer base again, post COVID, trying to build up how many volunteers we have involved. Key volunteers are always important.
Yeah.
But then those key volunteers need additional help. And I think Neil could, attest to this. The silent auction alone was a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
And it was always successful, but it took a lot of work to make it successful.
It's labor
So
intensive.
we want to evaluate all those things, and then, like you said, get our best bang for the buck on moving forward.
Good. Okay, we'll be working on it.
Okay.
Regular business. Eric, take it away.
Okay. Well, as we discussed yesterday in our little pre-meeting, it's a kind of a light agenda today. I don't have a lot to report on because mainly we've just been busy, and I know that in a few minutes the staff are going to talk about some of the projects that we've had going on, the events that we've had going on, and it seems October, everybody wants to do everything in October, so it's been a very busy month, and leading up to that. But they have some great stuff that they're going to share with you here in a few minutes. I just would like to give you a staffing update. I know that staffing is something that we're focused on pretty heavy right now in a lot of areas. But just as far as the staff themselves, we've had a couple of folks leave, and the library aide position is often the most turnover in that position. It's a part-time position, so we see that. The library aide opening at Central Ridge. I know Seth Wellfell, he wasn't there that long, but he wound up finding another position moving on. And we still have our youth services librarian position at Homosassa open. Debbie Hurley was the youth librarian at Homosassa, and she moved on to pursue some other things with schools. So it is, the job market is like you hear it everywhere. We're not immune to that either. So it's difficult, especially with the professional positions, the youth librarians, the instructing and research librarians. It's hard to recruit, and so we're doing everything we can on that end. We're not the only ones having struggles with that. I know I've talked with Adam and other staff in the youth library in particular, and he's looked out there in the market. Lots of libraries have openings that aren't getting filled. So it's a very, even if it's competitive market, but even if you can be competitive, it's still difficult to find folks to fill those slots. So we'll keep pushing forward. I know that they might have a couple of new interviews coming up for that soon, and that position is still open, so we'll keep moving forward. we had a couple of librarians join the team. Jenna Wong over at Lakes Region Library is a new library aide there, and Stephanie Hildebrand over at Coastal is a new library aide over there, and Hannah Russo is the new instruction and research librarian over at Coastal, and that was generated from someone leaving, and then we did a little musical chairs where so the person that was at Central Ridge got promoted to a position. Olivia got promoted there, and so we moved that instruction and research librarian to Central to help manage our resources there. And of course, Central, as you know, has the computer learning center and the computer lab. So and then Hannah Russo came on board and has filled that vacancy at Coastal. So she's young, has a lot of energy, so we like that. So she'll be able to fit right in and get things going over there.
Eric, how long does it take you
yes.
from an application or a notice that a job's available to having somebody like on board? How long does that take you usually?
It depends.
Okay.
If we in a normal scenario, and when I say normal, I mean pre-COVID, we could fill a position in 5 or 6 weeks. From the time a person leaves, get it posted, get it out, get it in. It's probably taken 8 to 12 weeks or longer now.
Wow.
And in the case where we're not getting enough recruits, to apply, it's taking longer.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly. Adam, do you remember when we posted the youth librarian? Yeah.
Can
End
I
of
make a
August, that's been-
recommendation, Eric?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
Can you perhaps have the youth librarian position made into a floating position if you can't fill the other one, and give them certain days at certain libraries to fill the gap until you do find someone?
Well, we do actually have staff that float and fill the story times and other types of activities, the minimum, until we can fill that position. So we have 3 other youth librarians at different locations, and actually at Floral City, since they don't have a permanent youth librarian there, the youth librarians cycle in and out of there doing programming over at Floral City. So we are actually doing that to a degree. The truth of it is, it's just difficult to find. It's always been a challenge in Citrus County because we're kind of geographically in between. I always joke we're too big to be small, too small to be big, although that's changing a little.
That's true.
But you have Ocala, Gainesville, and then you have Tampa and Orlando, and we're not there. So with degreed positions, it's sometimes difficult to find professional librarians that want to move to Citrus County, and plus all of the other challenges that are coming. I mean, I've talked with teachers, with school officials. They have a hard time getting teachers to come. It's difficult right now. Housing is difficult. Everything is difficult. So it's just a sign of the times. But we'll be doing everything we can to try to recruit someone that we'll find someone that'll fit perfect. It always happens. It's just we have to be patient.
Do we have any kind of internship program? I mean, because sometimes that's
No.
good for recruiting.
No. I know the county has talked about something like that in the past, but it's never really gotten off the ground. We're looking at some other ideas that where we may be able to institute something like casual labor or something to fill gaps in between when we can. Adam and Debbie and I were talking about that earlier, but I have to get with human resources and see what our capabilities are. We've got to find new ways to be flexible, obviously, because I don't see that challenge just miraculously going away. I think it's going to be that way for another year or two at the least.
Do they have to go through a background check as well? So if you did have people like you're saying that would
Yes.
float in, or you have to do a background check, right?
Yeah, that's part of the standard process.
Right.
When you get hired in the county, and especially being a youth librarian. So yes.
So how many open positions do you have? 2?
Right now we only have 2 open positions.
Oh,
the
that's
youth
good.
librarian and yes. And of course, you all met Jessica. I didn't need to introduce her. This is great. Jessica
know
Week started. Just been 2 months now, almost. Yeah, end of August. She started with us. We're very happy. We hope she's very happy. So things are rolling forward very good, and so that has helped a lot, because this is a unique position where it touches a lot of different things,
She does everything.
especially out of my office because it can get a little chaotic sometimes. But it's good.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Okay.
So with staffing,
Okay.
we're also in the process, and I just wanted to mention so you guys have an awareness, the entire county, entire Board of County Commissioners staff are going through, and you probably saw it on the, if you watch the board meetings at all, a classification and pay study. We haven't been through one in quite some time. I think it's been over 15 years since the
long
county's had a class and pay study. So we've spent the past few weeks doing that, and we've put a lot of effort into it. Staff put a lot of effort into it. Myself and all the supervisors and the three of us, the two managers and myself, sat down and have meticulously gone through all of those forms and try to be as comprehensive and thorough as possible to have the best result that we can. And that's not only for staffing, but, you know, for moving forward as well, as, you know, we're growing as a county and what that brings. You know, one of the things that I pointed out to, and Evergreen is the company that's doing that, and I pointed out to them, it isn't always just it's of course the job descriptions and the pay that has to be aligned with, to be competitive, not only with, you know, they say counties can't be competitive with private industry. That's true, but our hope is that we at least be able to be competitive with the counties that surround us. And that's something that we're looking at, hopefully. But also, I pointed out, you know, it's not just positions, but it's also workload, workloads in those positions and things like that, where at some point, you know, I'll remind the board, when prior to 2012, we had 64 staff positions. And due to the adjustments we had to make in 2011, 2012, 2013, coming out of the recession, we went from 64 positions down to 49. And I reminded him, he didn't know, but I specifically let them know, we're still at 49. And they were kind of shocked at that themselves, but we're not, because it's been interesting. We've kept it very, very tight, but at some point that does have to move forward, especially as the county continues to grow, the population continues to grow, and demand on services continues to grow. And I would point out, it's not just demand on folks that walk in the door, those types of services, but the changing services. I mean, it's different. The way that we're serving the public is different. And it's not just from digital, but it's also what the public needs. You know, staff have brought forth a couple of different times examples of, you know, your average question when someone comes in and needs help with something, you know, it seems 2 or 3 years ago, you spend 5 or 10 minutes with a patron, they get what they need, and that's it. We're getting a lot more patrons come in that just need much more in-depth help. Whether they're exhausted, they've tried to find help wherever it is, or they just can't get help elsewhere. Organizations that are like strictly online, or pretty much every agency, every governmental agency, every organization, all of them are online, and people need help navigating that space. So it takes, you know, 20 or 25 minutes to help that patron where it used to take 5 or 10. So that creates, you know, you need more resources to be able to handle that kind of workload. And we're evaluating it to see how, you know, we can justify moving forward with probably staff requests at some point. But it is a changing avenue. And of course, the skill sets with the digital technologies and the services that, you know, we want to be able to make available, it requires different skill sets to manage those types of things. So it's a changing environment for us. But we'll keep adjusting and keep you in the loop on that.
Have you done a comparison of the number of classes that your staff gives, particularly with technology as an example, say compared to 10 years ago or 15 years ago? That has got to have been just on the sheer number of hours in each branch.
Well, it's changed, and no, we haven't done a comparison, but that's not a bad idea to look at that. Just
That
in
would give you a lot of
the subject areas change.
The subject areas change, but I mean, 15 years ago, you didn't have technology classes. And,
Correct.
And if you're giving, on average, say, 3 or 4 classes a week in any given library, and those classes are running an hour, that's a lot of hours added up
It is.
over time.
It is, and I think, you know, the other challenge too is getting back to the staffing side of things is when you have a lot of staff turnover in an environment market like this, and most places are, you lose that edge of being able to stay ahead of that curve because you're constantly having to train new staff, you're constantly having to get people in the pipeline. So we're adjusting to that and seeing how we can evaluate exactly what you're talking about. Not only the number of classes, but the type of classes, and of course, we will have no choice but to adjust volume. And of course, we want to focus on quality. Quality matters more than quantity. So we'll see how that moves forward as well.
Eric,
Yes.
do you currently have a program for how to pay your bills online?
Not specifically for that, but we do a lot of just online general types of things for online forums, online. It's part of we don't have a class specifically for that, but we do get people that, and I won't use bill paying so much as we get folks that need help filling out governmental forms online, those types of things, where it's because most of the time it's very user specific. So, it's that sitting. That's why we're having to sit down with them and help them more one-on-one than it would be for a general class, because every person's going to have a different need or a very specific thing they're trying to resolve. Not that we wouldn't in the future. If we could find a way to generalize that a little more,
Right. Like
that
do a
would be
mock-up,
helpful.
you know.
Yeah, but that is the type of stuff that we're working on.
In the Chronicle this week, today or yesterday or the day before, there was a woman in there and there was an article about domestic violence. And at the end, she said that she left her situation and that she got the information from a librarian at the Citrus County Library.
Yeah.
So that was pretty, like, I got kind of teary-eyed when I read that. That was
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the the ways that we serve in the community is when people don't have any other place to turn. If they come in, we'll do everything we can to find out whatever information we can. It's why we partner with just about every nonprofit in the county that we can. And I tell them when and staff talk to them, have your information available, because if someone comes in, we'll be able to point them in your direction. We have 5 locations. They're not strategically placed. It just kind of worked out that way, that we have them obviously where the population pockets are, with our 5 locations spread around the county. So we're a great information distribution point, not only for governmental information, but nonprofit information, anything like that. So we try to do our best to keep that updated and reach out to those organizations.
It's working.
Okay. I think that is most of what I have, and I'd like to turn it over to the region managers. They have some good stuff to share with you. And my last comment, I almost forgot. We talked in the last meeting that you guys would like, because we did an orientation, just a general orientation of everything, that there's some other areas you'd like to work on. And even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes of this meeting where we can update you on things like, the best rules and best practices of Robert's Rules of Order, the best rules, best practices of the Sunshine Law, and those sorts of things. And we can certainly start working those in. I think maybe starting in the new year when we get that going, and we'll talk about that calendar in a moment, about when we might want to work those things in and get going. December probably wouldn't be the best meeting with all the holiday activities going on, but we'll work some other stuff in for that. But
Well, that might be good too, because
Yeah.
February,
Yep.
it'll start the new year, so we should
Yeah.
probably maybe do it at that meeting. And I will tell you, that is a positive, because we've had some rather large meetings over the
Yes.
past year, and I spent many sweat hours checking those Robert's Rules of Order and reading them and rereading them and practicing them and making sure that we had everything correct, so that
I know.
nobody could say that we were doing something incorrect. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
And I do remind everyone, it's everyone really does their best and tries their hardest to do it right. But when you're in a little bit more of a heated moment, folks like to criticize about not doing something exactly correct or proper, or that maybe a small mistake gets made or an oversight. But I know, having worked here, for a long time, and having worked with this board for a long time, that everyone I've worked with really does try to do their best. And I remind those that criticize that, we're working with volunteers. They're doing their very best. All of you are do your best to make sure we're doing it the right way. So it's, part of my job too, to help prepare you for those sorts of things. So if we can do some workshops and updates to
It's a
make
good
sure
idea.
that you have that information, that's just good.
Yeah,
So.
it's a great idea.
Awesome.
Good idea.
So, Debbie?
Okay. So first of all, I want to talk to you about an event we just had this weekend. The instruction and research librarians and all the staff really worked hard on it. And it was our C4Con. It's our Citrus County cosplay comics convention sort of thing. And we had tons of kids and families show up in costume. We had vendors there. It was really a success. We had, of course, Annie, the Friends of the Library, paid for her to come and paint the children's faces. But there were all kinds of breakout sessions and things. So it really was a huge success. It was held at the Homosassa Library. And we were going to be meeting and debriefing and figuring out what worked, what didn't work. But it was really a success. And, I mean, there was like, I think 16 or 17 staff members there, all the managers. Everyone played a key role, and they were all there to support it. And I know April was there.
I was. It was excellent.
Yeah.
What a great event.
So we look forward to getting ready to do it next year.
Oh, good.
Do you have an estimate of the number of people that were there?
I think 380.
Somewhere around there.
380.
Yep.
We had about over 700 the first year, which we really didn't want that much.
But that was a different time of year, too.
It
That
was
in
a
the summer.
different time of year,
So that
but
makes
also it was before COVID,
a difference.
and marketing and a different team of instruction and research librarians working on it. But when you have 700 people in Homosassa, you find out that the plumbing doesn't always work like it's supposed to, and you have to call out people and stuff. So our goal is probably to get around 500. That's our sweet spot that we're looking at. So we're looking at how we can do it, because 500 people in the hot heated summer, we had things outside this time, which if it's in July,
Right.
we can't do. So we're just gonna take a look at it all and figure it out. So, my other thing is, as you know, the library partners with the Education Foundation for First Library. And I'm just going to, if anyone is interested, our next read-in is October 26th. And I'm going to pass around this sign-in sheet if anyone can. We're going to be doing Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
That one.
Yes, it's a fun one. So I have some
I did
books
that
with
last
me. So if anyone is interested, the times are here, the schools are here. Real quick, it's done by acronyms. I need to change that. But it's Central Ridge Elementary, Citrus Springs, Crystal River Primary, Floral City. So if you have any questions on the place, just
What
let me
day of
know.
the week is that?
Wednesday.
Ooh, I might be able to do that.
So if you can just pass it around, if you're interested in reading, just sign it.
I've done that before. If you guys haven't done that,
Yeah.
do it. It's
No, it makes your day.
oh, it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much
Worst
fun,
day ever, and all of a sudden you have pre-K and kindergarten.
and that's a fun book. It's
and
just
they get a copy of this book.
yeah,
to take
it's
home.
really fun.
So just like you can
Yeah.
be having the worst day ever, and all of a sudden these little ones are just hugging on your legs.
Yeah.
So, and
Where
then
where are you reading them at?
Huh?
Where are you reading them at?
At the schools.
School.
Yes.
Whichever school you
Yep.
pick, you just go. You show
The
up at
11
the office.
elementary
And
schools,
Yes.
so
they have your name in it.
we have multiple classes at all 11, and with the kindergarten, I think we have how many different classrooms to fill?
A lot.
60 volunteers.
Yeah,
There's
we
a
need
lot.
about 60 to 70 volunteers for the kindergarten reading.
Yeah.
The pre-K is a little easier. It doesn't have the volume, about half, so it's a lot easier. But it is what Debbie said. It's a rewarding experience, even if you've had a little time, because you're special to them no matter who you are.
Right.
They call it celebrity readings. You're a celebrity to a 4 or 5 year old no matter who you are when you come into the room. So they just like seeing somebody different, read them a story, and have fun.
And they like to chat
Yes.
because you're
Oh, yes.
not the teacher. So
Be
there's
careful what questions you ask.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Because they all answer at the same time.
Yeah,
And they all want to be heard. It's great.
it's a lot of fun.
It's
Find out,
very,
like,
very,
Daddy's not around.
yeah, it's fun.
Kind of fun.
It's interesting.
They tell on each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah,
Yes.
They have purple dogs.
It's all good.
It's fun. Thanks,
All right.
Deb.
So Adam's up.
I noticed Diana Finnegan's on there.
All right. I have a couple different things. The first thing on your desk, you'll see a small keychain. This was printed from our 3D printer. that we received about a year ago through an LSTA grant. Hannah Sigler has been working very hard to learn all the different nuances and how to print with her printer. She used it to print a lot of pieces for some of the Dungeons and Dragons event that we had at C4Con last week. But then she also started working with 3D modeling, which is making your own kind of custom things. Because she made these Citrus Libraries keychains. So you all have one of those just to kind of take a look at. So we expect quite a few more projects and programs to come out of this. It does take a lot of time to print a lot of things, and there's quite a learning curve with it, but we're very impressed with what's happening so far with it.
That is cool.
Yep. And then the other thing I put on all of your desk is this set of pictures. So these are part of what's going to become a permanent display over at the Lakes Region Library. It's in partnership with the Friends of the Lakes Region Library. They purchased the display cases, and then the SETS Foundation, which is a local group of scientists, paleontologists, just a general group of just really dedicated people to promoting science and education. So they have come up and donated all of these different fossils and things that you see in these cases. And what it's going to be, it'll be 3 display cases filled with fossils and different items ranging from millions of years ago, when Florida was below sea level, all the way to prehistoric mammals. And then they also incorporated some Florida space. So it's really the history of Florida kind of through the fossil record. And there'll also be some different signage, interactive displays, and banners to go up to sort of explain all the different things, just like you'd see kind of in a museum exhibit. And we're going to do an official grand opening or reveal of it on Saturday, November 19th. But in combination with that, to kind of kick that off, we're going to have a special program put on by the SETS Foundation as well. They've been coming to our libraries for about the past year or so, and they've been doing different science programs. This one that they're going to offer is going to be, it's called the Oreodont program. And what they're going to be able to do is, people that sign up for this program are going to be able to actually get a fossil, and it's going to be encased in sort of plaster, how they kind of get them out in, when they're like excavating them. And then you're actually going to get to take that fossil and excavate it and clean it up, and then you leave with your very own Oreodont fossil.
Cool. That is
So they did one over the summer with a dinosaur bone that they got somewhere out in the western United States, and they let people actually kind of clean it and help kind of dig it out of
What's the date for that?
November 19th. It's a Saturday.
Oh, okay, same as the.
And that's at Lakes?
It will be, yes. Yep. So we
What does SET stand for?
SETS. It is Science Education Training and Support Foundation. Yes.
Awesome.
And I got the question yesterday from Eric. He asked me what an Oreodont was, and I thought I might get that question today. So
There
it's
it
sort of
is.
like a pig, kind of.
I thought it was
Yep.
a combination between an Oreo and a donut.
Yeah.
And I
It
thought it
could
was
be.
Oreo don't eat the Oreos, but
Right.
what do I know?
I thought it was something that flew.
All right, well, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
All wrong.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
And now we have Taylor.
We made notes yesterday so that we wouldn't all cover the same things. Okay, so September has been a very busy month for our staff. As we said at the last meeting, every year we work with the schools to get library card applications into the hands of every kindergarten student, whether in our public or our private schools in the county. This year, we went a step further and added a digital application option for families. As a portion of that digital application, the parents were also able to request a library card as well. And so happily, I'd say about a third of the digital applications that we got also included a parent card that we were able to send out. And so this year we mailed every new library card to every one of our kindergartners who got cards. So our staff had been writing addresses. Their poor little fingers have been about to fall apart, but they've done it. They're doing great. I think we're wrapping up the last of the paper applications that we do get back. It does take us a little bit of time to get those processed and put in. And with the hurricane we had, it didn't help our timeline on that one. So we are working on those, and I will have final numbers for you at the next meeting. But that has been kind of our big push for September into October. And then with Library Card Sign Up Month in the schools, we also have been going to a variety of literacy nights and library nights that our schools have been hosting. So last year, at the end of the year, Kim Roberts, one of our youth librarians, and I had the opportunity to go and be at the Central Ridge Elementary School, and we worked with their media specialist there, and she was very excited to do additional programming. This year she reached out at the beginning of the year and asked if we would come in and do a library night. And so we went and we took one of our story walks, and they put the story walk panels up in the media center, and the kids came in and they got to read the story. They had a strawberry themed snack and there were other activities, and it was fantastic. Well, after that night, she went to a media specialist meeting, and the next 2 days I was bombarded with phone calls and emails from other media specialists in our county who were asking us to come in and do similar programs or partner with them for literacy nights as well. So after that, we went to LaCantia Primary School and did library cards there. We didn't take a story walk for that event. They were doing a smaller thing, and we went and did library cards there. And then on the books, we have Hernando Elementary School's Literacy Night, Citrus Springs Elementary School Literacy Night, and Floral City Elementary School's Literacy Night coming up in the next 4 weeks. We have had others in contact with us, and as soon as we can nail down dates and times with them, we will be sending staff to go to those Literacy Night events. And so we could do anything from read a story and host a story time during those evenings to bringing a story walk with us. And then doing library cards as well. So depending on the school and how many come, we could do 20 to 50 new card applications while we are there. And so the kids always get very excited that they get to walk away with their library card that evening. And so that has just been a fantastic addition to our already very, very full plates for October.
Wow.
Also in October, at the beginning of September, Eric got a call from one of our community partners with Walmart in Inverness. Ed Shaw, the manager over there, had some items that he was ready to give away with a challenge. And so we were tasked with creating a reading challenge in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To get off the ground and running for 5 bikes that were to be given out. So for the month of October, we have been running the Books for Bikes challenge, where kids get a virtual ticket for every 60 minutes that they read up to 600 minutes. And so that has been fairly successful already. We've still got a couple of weeks left until the end of October for kids to be able to participate and register for that one. And so that is open to all kids in our county, preschool up through 12th grade. So we have been excited to partner with them once again, and that was a very, very quick turnaround for a reading challenge for us. But we've done it, and the families who are participating are very excited about it.
We'll be joining Ed Shaw and Walmart. They had to adjust their timeline. If you've been in a Walmart in Inverness recently, you know they're kind of moving things around. They're going to have a grand reopening event that we've been invited to, and we'll announce the winners. And that'll currently it was scheduled for November 4th or something, but that's obviously not going to happen. So he's rescheduled it for the 18th of November that morning. So if you happen to be in Inverness and need to swing by Walmart, it'd be a good morning to go. I know he's going to have, like fire department there, the mayor there, other types of things. We'll be there, and we'll make a nice event of it.
Coffee. He's going to have coffee because it's a 7:30 in the morning event. It's a little early, but we'll be there.
It's all good.
Waiting for our coffee.
He pushed it to 8.
Oh, he pushed it to 8? Oh, fantastic. That extra half hour is really great.
But it's a Friday.
It's a Friday morning, yes ma'am. So our families won't be able to make it to,
We'll coordinate.
depending on if it's a public school family or a homeschool family. We do have some of our homeschool families who participate in these activities. So it will be we will pull the winners and get in contact with them. And if they can make it, fantastic. If they can't, we will coordinate a time with them to be able to come pick up their prize at another time. So we're working with what we got here.
It'll be mostly the promotional side of it on that morning of the 18th.
Yes. So one of the outreaches that we did last year, which was almost a first for us, was the Crystal River Scarecrow Festival, which was 2 weekends ago on October the 8th. They do it every year on the second Saturday. Last year we went and we took the story walk and we had a great time. We made about 45 library cards. This year we went again and we made 90 library cards
It was
in
mobbed.
one day.
Wow.
It was a very, very long day. The weather was beautiful. People were so excited to be out. We had people coming up to us left and right who were like, we knew the library was going to be here. We came just to get our library card today. So that was a really, really happy feeling for us. And we were all very excited that by about lunchtime, we had already hit 50. So it was a fast and the furious kind of morning doing library cards. We made cards for a family of 9. That was a lot. There were a lot of kids in the tent at that point running around. But we had a fantastic day. One of our youth librarians was able to be there with us. And then one of our library aides was there. So it's a 3-person a day, usually when we do a large outreach like that, and we have the story walk with us. So we love getting to partner with the cities and the different groups to be able to bring out the story walk and do some different activities and things with the kids. But it was a very successful day. And then the next day during our professional development day, our staff worked diligently anytime we had some breaks to get those 90 cards processed, because I had forgotten on Saturday that we weren't going to be open on Monday when I was telling people your card will be ready on Monday. So they were quickly fantastic on Monday getting those taken care of. And then Saturday ended our Refer a Friend promotion that we did. We don't have our final numbers in on that promotion as of yet, but we will be doing the drawings to see who won the pairs of gas cards that we will be giving away later this month, courtesy of each of the 5 friends groups. So there was a pair of $50 gas cards, so $100 in gas cards total. That is being given by each friends group at each branch to help increase our number of library cards during Library Card Sign Up Month. So more numbers and information will be coming once we get those all gathered in later this week. And then upcoming, we have Veterans Day. So for the last few years, our libraries worked with the Veterans Affairs Office here, Veteran Services within Community Services, to create cards for our veterans. We decided that we've been doing that for a couple of years now, and so we're switching up how we honor our veterans in our community. Last year, one of our staff members, on a whim, kind of put together a memorial and honorary piece at the Homosassa Library. It was our instruction and research librarian there, Derek. And so people were able to come in and write the name of their veteran, their loved one who had served, and add it to a star on a portion of a wall right when you go into the building. That was so well received that we decided we should do it at all 5 locations. And so starting on Monday, there will be a salute to service display that is up at all of our locations. And there will be the different branches of the military. We have found the correct patch. Debbie helped us make sure we were using the correct emblems and insignias for each branch, because there's a lot of options for each branch of service, and finding the right one was a task, but we did it, and it looks good. And so people will be able to select the branch that their loved ones served in, and then add their name and their number of years that they served. And so those will be going up around our county, and we are very excited that those will be up. So we're hoping to get them filled in a little bit before Veterans Day, so we can have just some great honorary pieces that
Where
are
are
in
you,
our
where are you going to
libraries.
put those? I mean, where in the library will they physically be
So
located?
each branch is a little bit different. At Central, it will be on the main on the wall of the computer lab that's right there on the checkout counter. At Homosassa, it will be on the wall right where the window is, where they did it last year. Derek already has everything planned out. At Coastal, it will be on the bulletin board that is there right before you get to the youth room. Floral Cities is adjusting their original location for theirs. It's currently where the Alzheimer's display is that we have up from Debbie Sell Savage. So once that display comes down at the end of the month, theirs will go up. And I don't know if Ryan ever confirmed with me where was putting their salute to service display. Perfect. It'll be on the right when you come into the library. So, the staff are working diligently to make sure that those are put up, and that there will be books and materials available as well that talk about our veterans.
That's amazing.
Yes, the staff are excited about it. So, I know there's a number of staff who have a loved one who have served, and then we have Debbie, who is our local veteran within our ranks here, and then. So it'll just we're excited. It'll be good, and it's something new.
I'm glad that's going up because there's a lot of voting going on in some of the libraries. I think it's an opportunity for a lot of people to see that, which is really nice.
Speaking of that, early voting starts on October the 28th. Both the Central Ridge Library and the Homosassa branch are early voting locations. So just be forewarned, there will be a heavier amount of traffic in those parking lots. And our Homosassa branch is not a voting precinct, though many people think it is. So on voting day, if your precinct is somewhere in Homosassa, don't come to the Homosassa branch. It is not there. However, our Central Ridge branch is a voting precinct. So the things I have picked up in the last 2 years.
And tell them not to cuss out the librarians at Homosassa
Right.
because it's not a voting place.
Correct. Please be kind to our librarians. They are
We have no control over that.
trying their hardest.
You
When
kind of
elections moves in, they move in.
Yes.
you kind of reminded me of the Homosassa tour guide on the boat. Just now with the library, maybe you could get a little
happens.
train and have the kids drive them around the library and tour the sections.
That would be fantastic. I feel like I should not be allowed to drive a train around the library.
That'd be
So
so
that would
funny.
be fun. And then the last thing I have for you that we did get confirmation on is that we will be working once again with Home Instead to have the Christmas trees up for the Be a Santa for a Senior program. And so we should be getting bulbs to put on the trees sometime in the beginning of November. And those will be up throughout November, and then they will be collecting gifts through either the first or second week of December. So because our next meeting will be right around when that is ending, I just wanted to let you guys know that those trees will be going up once again in all 5 locations. I think that covered everything. Sorry, guys.
That was good.
All good.
It's a long one.
No, that was good.
Great. I just have one last thing that I was neglected to mention was last Monday, we had our annual all-staff training day. We call it Professional Development Day. We moved that to October so that we could do it on Columbus Day since that's a federal closure. A lot of folks think that the library is closed anyway, so we try to pick a day because we always have to close an extra day for that event. So that really worked out well. The property appraiser, Craig Dalton, was our guest speaker. We focused a lot on customer service, renewing that spirit of great customer service, not only to our patrons, but also for ourselves, and making sure we're taking care of each other. So it was a very good day. I just thought I would mention that. And then with that, I think we're finished. Move on to the next item.
Okay, old business. I don't actually think we have anything from the last meeting that was, nope. Okay, and new business. So the schedule would be on the next sheet. That's for 2023. It all looked fine to me if it's okay with everybody else.
Just need to vote to approve it.
Okay,
We're good to go.
somebody want a motion that we accept those dates?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you very much. So put those on your calendar if you would. Okay, so I'm gonna defer for a second to Eric to announce the upcoming term expirations. And what I'd like to say about that is, if you're on the board now and you're coming up, I would love to have you continue. So if you would get your applications in, I think Eric will talk more about when the official posting goes on for those. But
Yes.
you can think about it and start working on it now if you're on the board.
Yes. It's that time again. Time flies.
Yes, it does.
So as you all know, we have 9 board member positions. And last year we had 5 renew. This year we have 4 renew. It's a rotation every other year. So this year, the expiration of January 31st, 23, which will be coming up, is Lorraine Benefield, Ken Jones, Elaine Clyde, and Phyllis Peters. So we have those 4 positions. basically all you need, and I can email you I have a fillable application that's a little easier, so I'll email all that to you. If you want, and we keep a copy of your previous application on file. If you want us to send you that, just let me know in case you want to pull from that to redo it. And then resubmit those. I would recommend just getting them to us before December because we will be putting this on the BOCC announcement in general, probably around one of the November meetings. It will be announced with some sort of December deadline, and then these will go before the BOCC, probably their second meeting in January for approval.
Yep.
So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me, ask me if you need a reminder or form or whatever. We've got that.
You're gonna send that form out the next week or so?
Yeah, I will send that out this week. I'll get with Jessica, make sure she has a copy of it, and we will send those to you. And we will just go ahead and send you whatever we had on file for you from your previous application. We'll scan that in and send it to you so you have it. And then if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Do you have a particular date you'd like to have them by?
I would just say before December would be good, if you can get them
By
in.
November 30th.
By November 30th would be fantastic. You'll have more time than that because there'll be a public announcement and there'll be public. So you'll have until probably sometime mid to late December to get them in. I don't have the calendar in front of me.
By early December.
Yes, by early December would be great.
Earlier is always
And I will
better.
make sure that you're aware of the actual deadline once the BOC sets that deadline for applications, once we get in the meeting calendar schedule. And I'll make sure we email you guys an update so you know exactly when that is. We have another meeting. When's our next meeting? December.
Our Christmas meeting.
That's right. Did you see it?
December 6th.
It's December 6th.
December.
So I don't believe the deadline will be before December 6th. So you could always bring it with you then if you want to. So, and I think
Okay.
that is it. If you don't have any questions, I think we're good to go.
Okay. And I think we'll go around with board member updates and start with Edith. Do you have anything?
Just to let everybody know that CF fall semester, the numbers are up at Citrus Campus. We actually have students on campus. We had our first gaming night this past Friday, and we had 16 people, which is really good for us. It's not the most we've ever had, but post-pandemic, it's definitely really good. So we're happy.
Good. Thank you. Lorraine?
I don't know, something that we're doing at the Crystal River Library, at the Friends there. We take care, or we have found 9 or 10 little libraries, the freestanding, you
Yes.
know? And so I've been going around twice a month and just putting in our little newsletter so that the people that use those little libraries would be aware of what's going on. And our little newsletter also has some of the county-wide things. So do know that information's getting out there.
It's a great idea.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm cool. Nothing for you? Okay. Ken?
Yeah, the Homosassa is going to have their library sale on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, November 17, 18, and 19.
Yes, I think did we mention that we had the flyers with both sales on there?
Yes. yeah,
Awesome.
Yes. And at the event on Saturday, they had
That'll
people.
be at Homosassa, yeah.
Yeah, they were giving them out and talking it up. And just to let everybody know, the regular mega sale, they do have different items at the Homosassa. It's not only books, but they have other media and things that they don't have at the other mega sale. So
Yeah.
it's a
And
little
it
bit,
hits the other side
little
of the
bit
county,
different.
so it usually does very well. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's a nice setup the way it's working.
Yep, it is working. Carol.
I used to live in Tallahassee, and we still get the Tallahassee Democrat, and there's a great story day before yesterday about communities in action, something like that. Anyway, they identified as their big project public art outside some of the main library branches in Leon County, and they're all huge books that the kids could sit on and read their book. So I've
Love it.
sent the email to April and to Eric, but that's sort of like a brainstorm idea for, anybody that wanted to, just give you $5,000
Yeah.
or something.
We do like those people.
Yeah.
They come around every once in a while.
This project is it's a community-wide project that's been going on for about 10 years, and it's funded by the James L. and John L. Knight Foundation. I'm not saying it right, but the Knight Foundation Community. That's it, KCIA, Knight Foundation's Incentives. How do you get that? Well, the Knight Foundation is alive and well in any community that has a newspaper that at one point was owned by the Knight Foundation. So the Tallahassee Democrat was one of those. So it's it fits in nicely with the newspaper because it's about reading. So, but it's really some cute pictures. If anybody'd like me to email it to
that's
you, I
great.
can do that as well.
If
Good
you
ideas.
would, yeah.
Okay.
if you would email.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Elaine.
I just wanted to welcome Jessica Weeks and say thank you so much for your thorough taking of the notes. And I hope that you enjoy your tenure.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And we'll all say thank you, Jessica, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
All the work that you do. We know it's behind the scenes. You just sit there quietly, but it helps. Everything that we do comes from your work. We appreciate that. Okay, we did the next meeting. It's December 6th. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Thank you, everybody. See you in December.
Hooray.